Hi, this is Russ from Crafter, and I want to talk about a migration script that can take you from CSV files that contain your content type definitions, your data source definitions, and your content itself, and import those things into a empty Crafter CMS project. And what's interesting about this is this gives you a canonical engine that you can then take any other source of content, whether that's Figma or WordPress or AEM or Contentful or any other system, and you can export that content, put it in this CSV format, which is very easily editable through spreadsheets and so on, and then give it to this framework and import it into your Crafter project. So let's just go through the kit real quick. This is the layout of the kit. It basically will help you with basic content type properties, repeat groups, shared and embedded content relationships, importing images directly, also creating blobs, and the system also creates some basic editing interfaces. It assumes you don't have any templates, and we'll just create some basic templates that you can either use as a headless editing interface, or you can just use as kind of like a guide to, like, okay, here's how I display this content now. Let me put my own markup around it. So the basic instructions are that you will add this project to the root of your sandbox. So just this folder here. You'll create the CSV file that contains your content, your content types, your data sources, and your content. There's instructions on what these fields in the CSV file mean and how they work. And then you're going to basically run the script just by going into your sandbox and running Python migration scripts, import py, and then it will run a series of subscripts. Out the other side, you will get content types imported, content objects imported, your images and so on imported, as well as some documentation created for you and editing templates. So let's see this in action. Let's just look at this project here. You can see in templates, we just have the entry FTL of the empty blueprint. We have nothing under the page tree. If we go into the projects here and we say content types and click on that, we see that there's just an empty, simple content type. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our folder structure here. And you can see that I'm in the sandbox. I've put my migration kit here. We're ready to run it. What we need to do is make sure that we have inside the migration kit, inside of content import, that we have our 3 CSV files. Let's just take a look at those real quick. They're pretty straightforward, but we'll just take a quick look at that. So you can see here data sources. These are just various data sources that I want to use across my content types and their properties. Again, these fields are all described in the documentation. If we look at content types, then you'll see there are the same sort of concept here. Various fields. You describe these. You'll notice that for the same content type, there's multiple lines for each section and multiple lines in each section for each field. And you'll see that those data sources get referenced in this file. So that's all your type information goes in this file. And then the content that you want to migrate, you can see it goes in the content file. And so you would, again, create a script to export from whatever of your source repository is into this format. You basically tell it what the type is, where the content's going, what the field type is, and what the value is. And this is used to create your instances. And you can see there is special formats for things like embedded content and so on. So that's a little bit of background on the data for this engine. And all that's left to do now is to go ahead and run this. So what we're going to do is we're going to say say Python 3, and we're going to run this from the migration kit. We're going to run import.py. And that's it. We've run a bunch of stuff here. And you can see it's loaded up 16 data sources. It's imported the content types. So it's gone through that. Then it's gone through and imported the content. It's creating XML objects in the repository for that. Then it creates some generic templates for us, writes some documentation for us, and then it considers it self-complete. All we have to do in order to test this in Crafter Studio is say git add -- all dot and git commit -m, and then we can say import, for example. There we go. We've just imported all those templates and XML content objects and form definitions and so on into Crafter CMS and our project. And that, by doing that, by committing that work, it makes it visible in Crafter Studio. So if we refresh the screen, now we can see all of our content under the pages structure, all the content under the component structure, as well as some new templates. Okay, and our static assets are imported as well. And you can see that we have a nice editing interface for our content, assuming that it's kind of headless. And again, we could then just take this and say, okay, well, how do we want to display this stuff on, let's say, a homepage if it were a traditional website? Now, this content should be editable. So we should be able to, for example, go to our assets and grab content like this and drag it and drop it and get a content update just like that. If we want to see if that really works, we can go in and we can say edit and take a look at the form view instead of the experience builder view. And there's our change there. And you can see these interfaces here that we automatically generate allow you to just do quick experience builder edits right from your export. So you can see that it's just pretty straightforward and nice. Let's jump around and look at some other things here. You can see that if we jump to, let's say, articles, and I click on this Acme article here, completely different content model, right? So here you go. Here's a hero image for the article, and then we've got repeat groups for rich text editing. I can go in here, click on this, and make my edit, and then jump out, and that's it. My edit's made. Again, let's jump into the form view of this, edit, and here we can see there's my edit. So, a really nice, powerful tool. I think you'll find this to be a great starting point. I hope you like it and extend it. Thanks.